I was finally able to see Anora. Is it really one of the best movies of the year? Let's find out right now. Hey everyone, I'm Josh. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be reviewing Anora. Before we get into it, make sure to subscribe and leave a like because it is free to do so. I'm also going to read you guys a quick plot description just so you know what the movie is about. Anora, a young sex worker from Brooklyn, meets and impulsively marries the son of an oligarch. Once the news reaches Russia, her fairy tale is threatened as his parents set out for New York to get the marriage annulled. So this one did premiere at Cannes Film Festival alongside other prestigious film festivals, and it won the most prestigious award at Cannes, which is the Palme d'Or. And if you went to a film festival this year, you probably saw this movie. I kind of felt late to seeing this movie because it premiered at so many film festivals, but that's the point. Neon's doing a great job with the rollout. Started out limited, now it's like semi-wide, mostly at all the theaters. Next week, I think it is going fully wide, so most people will be able to go see it by then. But believe the hype, people, because we have another winner on our hands. This is one of the best movies of the year. I can confirm to you, I think this is honestly another perfect movie for me, and I only have two or three other perfect movies this year. I think it's been a pretty great year for me personally. Neon, as I said, another winner on their hands. They're having a great year. I think they're rivaling, A24 for just being a better, distributor this year. They're having a lot of good movies. And Shawn Baker, he's another winner. He's just quickly becoming one of the most interesting filmmakers working today after making Tangerine, which was his first movie, which he shot fully on an iPhone 5S, of course, with other attachments. But that's impressive. Even if it's like my least favorite film from him, I don't think it's bad, but it's just my least favorite. It's impressive that he shot that with an iPhone 5S. A 5S? Who even has an iPhone 5S at this point? And then he did the Florida Project for A24, which most people, of course, loved. I think it's a great movie. I don't really love the ending and the choice that he makes with that one. And then, of course, Red Rocket, which was his film from like COVID, like 2020, 2021, which I personally loved a lot. I think Red Rocket is my second favorite film from him. Of course, Anora is my new favorite film from him. And if you've seen his movies, you can notice a kind of pattern, which is all of his films kind of revolve around sex workers, which I don't really have an opinion on myself, but I know there's a lot of stories to really tell about them and from their perspectives. And I think it's great that Baker is, one of the only directors that is brave enough to tell those stories in sort of like a magical way, even though some of his stories, like I will say, the Florida Project isn't so magical, but he does turn Red Rocket into this sort of magical fantasy character tale. And Anora is just a really magical fairy tale, I would say, about this erotic dancer. And I do think his direction does get better with each film that he does, but it will be hard for him to top this work and Anora because it feels like so much more is going on compared to his other movies. Like, he makes chaotic movies, but this one is chaotic on its own level, and he still finds a way, which is just perfect, to balance every character and emotion without overstepping. In my eyes, I think that this is the best told 3-act structure story that I've seen in a long time, because in each act, it's kind of a different short story in this longer, almost 2.5-hour movie. The first act, I would say, is a kind of a fairy tale. As said in the movie, it's kind of a Cinderella story for Annie, or Anora as she's called, as she meets Yvonne and she gets paid to have some fun with him. And this act, I would say, overall is a sexy and beautiful time for the character as they just have fun with each other. And the second act mostly focuses more on the outrageous aspects of the storyline in film, and a lot of funny moments happen here when we're hunting for a certain character. And in this specific act of the movie, I think this is like an hour or so into the movie, there's like a 20-minute sequence in Yvonne's like mansion or house that is one of the best things I have seen this whole entire year. It is hilarious in some of the best ways possible, chaotic and just so out there. And I was like, I'm impressed, man. This is really good stuff. And I will say that this movie made me believe that Anora is probably the funniest movie that I've seen this year. It's not only this act that is really funny, the last act is also pretty funny. I would say the whole movie is really funny. Shawn Baker does so well at, balancing these chaotic moments and just having just these characters just blurt out this one-liner that is really funny. They're just tossing insults at each other a lot in this movie, and I was laughing. My audience was laughing. It is really funny compared to also how, by, you know, how graphic it is in the R-rated sense. And the last act, without spoiling anything for you, about spoiling the ending, I will talk about the ending in non-spoiler discussion, is some of the saddest stuff that you'll watch this year. Like, it honestly took me by surprise with how sad and heartbreaking it really is, but it goes there, and I'm happy that it did. The last shot and scene of this one really wouldn't have worked, though, without some of the biggest and best jokes in the whole movie, which to me is odd to say. Like, you wouldn't think that, you know, a very sad scene would work so well because of all the jokes that were told, but it does. You know, you kind of take those jokes at just face value as just, oh, random one-liners, but you look back at them and see, oh, that's true character development for these two people. And, you know, the ending kind of goes in multiple ways. You could think about it in different ways, but I think the one way that people think about it, like me personally, is it's heartbreaking stuff. You know, you think of this movie as one true fairy tale for these characters, but then you'll look at the ending and be like, oh my goodness, wow, he really did. Shawn Baker really wanted to go there with this story and really wanted to make something different and original, and that's what he did. And I think he did such a great job of balancing this 3-act structure. You know, the first act is sexy, beautiful, you know, just a fun time. Second act is hilarious, chaotic in some of the craziest ways possible. And the third act is, you know, sad, funny, and honestly heartbreaking, and serves as one of the best endings of the year and one of the best final scenes and shots of the year. Something so fascinating to me about Shawn Baker is, I guess, he doesn't decide to use a musical score in his movies, which honestly is kind of weird for me, because I was looking up his movies on Spotify, which is usually how I look up a score and listen to a score, and I couldn't find any. I just found like the soundtracks of what different music he puts in his movies from other people. But I will say he does a great job at having you not really notice that there's not really score in the background, because he just uses existing songs a lot in these movies, and he used a lot of dialogue, and it's impressive. It really is impressive how he makes you not notice it's there. And I honestly wasn't thinking about it until I wanted to look up the score, and I just found out those are already existing songs. So it's pretty cool there. And another impressive thing about Shawn Baker is that he edits his own movies. Yeah, you heard it here right. He edits his own movies. I think it was the Florida Project was my first watch from him, and I saw edited by Shawn Baker, and I'm like, really, Shawn Baker, you edited your own movie? And he did. He edits his own movies, and I don't know how he does it, but he does it. It's, you know, sure, it's not an insane action Marvel movie with tons of cuts between these fight sequences, but editing your one movie that's over 2 hours long, and after already directing it and writing it, takes some extreme dedication. And it's amazing that, you know, you have someone in this business that cares so much about their craft and, you know, treats it as their baby, that they're willing to just edit it themselves. And God, I can just imagine how tired Shawn Baker is after editing a movie like this and directing and all that. It really does take some dedication, as I said, but I think he did a great job with the editing here because it's kind of masterful. Now let's talk about this cast. It's not a very big cast. I will just talk about my standouts here. Of course, gotta talk about a main star, Mikey Madison, playing Anora, or Annie as she called in the movie. And what I just love about Mikey Madison is that she's been able to make a huge impact in her movies. In just some small roles, because she's been in some movies the past couple years, and not really the leading role. Like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you had her in a very small role, but the ending she really didn't make her mark. And in Scream, she was actually a bigger role there as one of the killers. She was great in that. And Shawn Baker actually came out in an interview. I think he said that he saw her in Scream, and he called her being like, "Hey, I want you in my movie. Let's have a meeting." And I'm like, that's basically all of us, because after the movie, after Scream 5, I think it was, I was like, who is this girl? She is fantastic as one of the killers. And she just, oh my goodness, she delivers my personal favorite performance of the year so far. I was kind of just blown away by her in this movie. She handles so many emotions, and I'm happy that she finally gets a true leading role like this. And of course, she's been in some other movies, but I wouldn't call those true leading roles. This is just, it's her movie. It really is. And she gets to eat up all the screen time that she wants. It starts with her and it ends with her. And I really just, I think that she handles herself so well. And of course, interviews outside the movie, she seems like a very kind person to everyone that she's talking to. I think she does a lot of fan meetups too, so she just seems so down to earth. It's great that someone like this is just doing such a great job. I'm really interested to see what she does next. I think she did say she's going to take a break after this one, but of course, I'm interested to see what she does next in Shawn Baker, because I thought Mikey Madison just really turned the table on the best actress race this year. Mark Idleston, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, but he does play Ivan in the movie. I also thought he was great in this one. I, of course, have not seen him in anything else, but I thought he did a great job here. He has a lot of different emotions going through him. He's just like this spoiled brat in this movie that lives in his parents' mansion in America, and his parents are in Russia, so he does whatever he wants. And so he goes to this club and meets Annie, and he has a fun time with her, and he's like, how much for you to be exclusive for me? And that just derails the whole thing for him, and he labels himself as just someone who thinks he can do whatever he wants. And I think he does a great job at that performance. Yura Borzov plays Igor in the movie, who is, I think, my second favorite performance in the movie. Yura does such a great job at showing so much emotion, but showing so little emotion on his face. Like, he really doesn't really, smile or frown much in the movie, I'd say, or even laugh. He's kind of just like this still face guy, just acting as the bodyguard in the movie. I don't really want to go into his character too much, but I think he did a great job. And if we're up to me, I think that he should get a supporting actor nomination at the Oscars. I mean, he just is a force to be reckoned with. And as I said, I'm not going to get into any spoilers, but just watch out for him. For me personally, I love the pacing of this one as well. It comes in just under that 2.5 hour mark, I think, in about 2 hours, 20 minutes. And it feels like this complete character journey for Anora. Some might get tired of how chaotic it gets, but honestly, I feel like if you get tired from this one, I just feel like you might not like Shawn Baker's movies at this point, because I think they're all like that. Florida Project isn't as chaotic, but I still will say Red Rocket and this are pretty chaotic. So if you don't like how chaotic it is, you just might not like Shawn Baker's movies, because I think it flowed really well. Spend some time on the Oscar chances. I, of course, think it's going to get into Best Picture, and it would be my winner for Best Picture at the moment. I, of course, haven't seen The Brutalist. I probably won't see The Brutalist until like January at this point. A24 sucks at they're releasing their movies. Best Director, I'd love to see Shawn Baker finally get in for Best Director. This is his best directed movie yet. He balances so much so well. Actress, Mikey Madison, I would honestly just give her the award right now. I don't see a female performance better than her this year. I mean, maybe you could disagree, but I feel like Mikey Madison just does so much more than anyone I've seen so far. Sure, there's still a couple more performances to come, but I just don't see anyone beating her. Original screenplay, one of the best screenplays of the year. It's funny, chaotic, sad, heartbreaking, sexy, beautiful. It's all those. Best editing, Shawn Baker, man, outdid himself with this one. Just edits his own movies and makes them flow so well. And for the maybe category, I'd say supporting actor for Yura Borzov. For Igor, I'd want it to happen, but I just think it might be a little too stacked for him to get in. And cinematography, it isn't as flashy as what cinematography usually is, but I think it is shot really well. Overall, I won't stop thinking about Anora for a long time, as I think it's a perfect movie, and I'm honestly just counting down the hours until I can watch it again. Shawn Baker just continues to be such a great original filmmaker, and I honestly think it deserves more praise, while Mikey Madison delivers my favorite performance of the year in this chaotic, sexy, hilarious, heartbreaking fairy tale. Anora gets a perfect 10 out of 10 from me. If you did watch Anora, make sure to leave your thoughts down below. I really do want to talk to you guys about this one. If you did enjoy my review, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. It's free to do so. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.